Hey, Sean here from SpeedQBView.com. I literally already made a video on the SpeedStack's G5 timer. I didn't like the video. And I wanted to compare it more with the other timers as well. So we're going to just combine them. And I'm going to talk about first the G5, talk about the new features of it, and then compare it to other ones on the market, specifically Yushin, Qi, YJ, and GAN timers. So before we get started, there'll be a lot of these linked in the description. So check those out if you want to get any, and you use discount code SCR at checkout at SpeedCube Shop, and you can save there and help support the channel. Also, please give the video a like. It does help out, and makes you feel good too. A couple things about the G5. There are new clips. They just sort of clip on. They go straight down, so you don't need to put it down and slide it. So it'll stay on much better. But they're in different spots. They're slightly closer together. So you need the new mat for it to clip down. However, they do have little rubber feet. So if you are just doing this at home, you don't need that. You just put it on a table and you're fine. So does it need the new mat? No. But if you're using it at a competition, it'll come with the new mat. And it clips on really well. Honestly, enough to where I was struggling to undo it. I was afraid of it, like the little knobs pulling off of the mat. Another thing is on the back, there's an opening right here. And this opening is for the cable to plug into and not be easily pulled out. From being at a lot of competitions, that plug falls out all of the time. No matter how you angle it on the regular timers on the G4 and G3, if you're solving and you hit it, it just unplugs. This prevents that because it's plugged in here and then the cord threads through here. For myself, I don't have the cable that came with the original timer. I just bought my own, and I bought a really nice cable, which is thicker than the other one. So it actually doesn't fit in here really nicely. I can push it in mostly, but it doesn't go in all the way. It works, it does what it's supposed to do, but just know that if you have a thicker cable, it's not going to be as nicely in there. But for the ones that come with the timer, if you're using for a competition, it's great. And honestly, I guess if you get a cable, just get a thin one. You don't need to do what I did and try to get a nicer one. It does come with batteries, so if you get the timer, you don't need to buy any batteries. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is going on with this? So two things first that I saw just recently, two misconceptions. The first one is the pads are not smaller. They look smaller, but if we move it next to the G4 timer, we actually have, what's a good way of putting it, like that. We actually see that the pads are about the same length, but they're much wider. We can actually, the pads are actually larger, so you can touch it here or here or here or here and it still works. So we actually have larger pads here, even though they look smaller just because I think they're closer together, but they're actually bigger. It might be like a fraction of a millimeter shorter this way, but that really doesn't matter too much. You have more space there. These thumb pads, if you are using this for cup stacking, you will use the thumb pads now. That's what the rules say now. I'm not going to talk about that. If you're cubing, you won't use them. You just turn them off. And it's very easy to turn them off and kind of hard to do it accidentally. So to turn them off, you need to hold down the reset button for like a full 5 seconds. It's a long time. And you can tell when it's set for 2 because there'll be a blue light. And if you're looking at the timer, you can tell because after you're done with the 2-pad timer, the time blinks a couple times. At a competition, if you are using these new timers, you will know that you're on that 2 pad by the blue light, and also people know by it blinking. That's mainly a warning for the cup stacking people to make sure that you're not cheating and using the 2 pad. With that said though, it's kind of nice. I don't find myself it's not hard to do, and I honestly don't think it will add any fraction of a second of time to my solve. I constantly have my hands, when you're starting, it doesn't really matter so much, no matter what you do. It's just stopping it like this. That's it. So instead of doing like this or whatever, you have to do that. It actually, I think, cut down on people karate chopping at the end, which is not legal in cubing. I don't think this will be a normal thing in cubing anytime soon, if ever. If it is, I'm okay with it, honestly. But, so the two big misconceptions, you don't need to use thumb pads, and the pads are actually larger than the G4. So this is an upgrade. The final thing is that you have to hold down the reset for half a second for it to actually reset the times or power off. So if you're solving, you can't accidentally reset the time just by hitting it. Honestly, all of this is an upgrade. The only thing it's lacking is the save function, which I have never used, and I've never met anyone who uses it. There might be someone who does, but there's just no save time function on it anymore. But great, I am perfectly fine with that. If you are trying to figure out between which speed stacks to buy, without a doubt, buy the G5. The G4 is fine, and if you do use it, I 3D printed some caps over the reset and the power button so I don't hit it. So if you want, I can share those 3D printed files. I guess I'll just put them in the description. And if you live nearby, let me know. I'll print them for you. But if it's between the G4 or the G5 and you have a choice between it, get the G5. The mat it comes with is actually really nice as well. So you get a really good mat with it if you get the version with the mat. That's the story on that. Let's talk about some of the other ones. First, I'm going to start with Yushin. So Yushin was the first one that I got. There is this version, and there's one that's more reminiscent of the G4. I have not tried the G4 one, but I've heard it's very similar. It's just a different shape. I stopped using the Yushin one after a few weeks because every so often it would just glitch. It would shut off. I think some of the times the batteries would pop out, like I'd hit it a certain way and the batteries would jump. There's sound effects, which you would try to turn off, but sometimes wouldn't turn off. It works for the most part, but it's not worth it. In my opinion, just straight up, it's not worth it. Then, let's see. I think the next one I got was the Chi-Yi one. The big thing Chi-Yi promoted was that it was like very durable. You could chuck this at a wall and it's going to be fine. The shape is really nice. The shape feels like the G4. We have these rounded pads. And it looks very, very similar to the G4 as far as the shape of everything else. It basically feels like a clone. Minus one thing. The sound chip. I don't know the full details of this, but from what I understand, there is a patented or proprietary sound that the SpeedStacks timer uses. And Chi-Yi didn't actually use that, which good for them. However, that means it doesn't work with CS Timer, doesn't work with SpeedCube Stats, doesn't work with any of the timers that the SpeedStacks one works with. So if you ever want to use with those, it just won't work for those. And it's kind of, I would say it's be worth it to just get one that you know will work well with it. So Chi Timer works, but however, that's an issue. And also, I think it's such a clone of it that they got in trouble and it's been removed from a lot of stores. Next, we have YJ. This I was really happy with. It worked really well. The reset button was on the bottom, so you can't accidentally hit it. The timing, the sound is the same as the SpeedStacks one, so it works with all those online timers. And it feels really nice. The only thing I really didn't like was the shape of it. It's very just flat. And I mean, it's not a really big deal. You're just starting it and stopping it. But after having curved pads of the G4 and the G5 and the Chi-Yi one, it's really nice to have that. But the YJ one works. It works well, and it does all the functionality of the SpeedStacks. If it was between this and SpeedStacks, if I have the money, I would still get the SpeedStacks one. But if you're on a budget, I believe this one is a little bit cheaper. Actually, let me check the price. Oh yeah, it is cheaper. It's less than half the price. So if you're on a budget, YJ1 works. If you can afford the SpeedStacks, then get the SpeedStacks. Lastly, we have GAN. GAN also has different clips on the back. Very different. These do not work with the G4 mats or the G5 mats or any mats that work with the Yushin, Chi-Yi, or YJ. So I don't know what mats these are. I guess GAN's going to come out with them. But this timer feels great. It didn't come with batteries, and it needed 4 AAA batteries, so that was fun. But it feels great. It feels really sturdy. And the big thing with this, besides it actually using the same sounds as the SpeedStacks, it is Bluetooth. I've used this with my phone with CubeStation. I have not used it with the computer. I'm sure I could hook it up to the computer Bluetooth and have it run there. I don't know how long the batteries last being Bluetooth. I'm wondering how fast that will drain, but it's been working for quite a while now. This is a really nice upgrade. I really love the Bluetooth function, and being able to connect it to the CubeStation app. You can use this timer with a regular cube on the CubeStation app. So it has its benefits. If you're trying to decide between 3 different ones, we have 3 options. YJ if you are on a budget. The GAN one if you want to use it with the GAN app and possibly be able to connect to Bluetooth to your computer. However, I haven't gotten that specific thing to work. But the G5 really is the way to go if you want something that is official, feels official, and just works. This is, I believe, the most expensive one, and, you know, they're the ones who created it, really, so they can do whatever they want. But I will be using this more than any other one. I will be using the GAN one with the GAN app for sure, and the YJ one will be my backup one, but the G5 will be the one that I will be using without a doubt from here on out. And I do like it above my G4 just because I'm not going to accidentally hit the reset button, and I know the cord isn't going to pull out. Hopefully this helps with everything. I'm going to put links in the description where you can get a lot of this stuff. Some of these I got from SpeedCube Shop. I believe the G4 I bought from SpeedCube Shop, the YJ one, the GAN one. Nope, the GAN one came from GAN. This one I bought from SpeedStacks. I wanted to get it right as it came out, so I bought that right away. Please leave any questions you have in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future, and as always, stop by speedcubeview.com for more news and reviews.